Hi, everybody. It is Thursday, July 1st. Wow, this year is disappearing. Um, I'm getting a real late start today. I spent most of the morning, I was out early. It's getting real hot again, so I was out watering like crazy, getting things done. And then I had a call with Chris Giese, he is Bass Player magazine, and we've spent couple hours on the phone doing an interview. And when I finish this, I've got to call him back and finish it because I had to run some errands. But I guess they're going to do another article about me. I would assume they're going to need it to fill some space, and who better to call as for filler than me? But I love talking to Chris. He's a great guy, and so that'll be fun. And uh, and then was sent a couple more things to work on. So kind of a crazy day. I'm just kind of wiped out from the heat. I just got in. I'm just like wet, and glasses keep fogging up here with moisture, just wet. I hope everybody's holding on okay. Man, this heat's just been unbelievable. And LA is nothing compared to other parts of the country. My nephew and his wife live in Portland, and that's, I think, right at this point, it's like living on the surface of the sun up there. But I thought I would go from yesterday with James Taylor. Oh, it was really great. The other day when I did Stephen Curtis Chapman, I was talking about Phil Nash was the keyboard player on the Stephen Curtis music that I did, and a lot of other projects I did down in Nashville. And lo and behold, I got a phone call from Phil today. We haven't talked in years. And he said, "Oh, a friend of mine turned me on to your channel. And thank you for the shout out. And I'd love to catch up." I mean, that's been the interesting part is when I do these, all of a sudden I start hearing from everybody from Jude Cole to Janice Ian. It's just like, it's really fun, the connections that take place doing things like this is pretty cool. I did something about this project that I'm going to talk about many videos ago, but I thought I'd revisit and just play a couple other tracks from this album because it was a really unique experience. It was a project that I did with Brian Wilson and Van Dyke Parks called Orange Crate Art. It's an album that we did back in 1995. Now, I started putting together my copious notes, and then I Googled the project up for some information. And I thought, hell, I may as well just read what somebody put on here because it's interesting and succinct and gets to the point. So I'm going to go ahead and do a little recitation for you. God, I'm just burning up here. This does not help in incredibly hot weather. It's great when it's freezing out, and it's like just wearing a turtleneck all the time. But in summertime, it can kind of suck a little bit. So here goes. So this is Orange Crate Art was the album. This is Orange Crate Art is the first collaborative studio album between American musicians Brian Wilson and Van Dyke Parks, released in '95 on Warner Brothers. The album consists mostly of songs written and arranged by Parks, with Wilson featured as lead and background vocalist. Its title refers to the sun-drenched, idealized paintings that grace wooden fruit crates, and its theme is nostalgic view of history of California. Yeah, I remember, getting those crates and stuff and seeing, these beautiful paintings that were on labels on them. And that's a whole collector's world of Orange Crate Art. But so it goes in the 30 years following their collaboration on the ill-fated Beach Boys' Smile project. Wilson and Parks each had developed their own solo careers. Sometime in '92, Parks approached the then reclusive Wilson with the invitation to record an album together. Wilson was in the middle of a court-ordered removal and restraining order from his psychiatrist, which came as a result of years of over-medication and gross misconduct. According to Parks, the reason why I asked him was to take care of this unfinished business and to try to escape from the tyranny of the sense of history that had been placed on our own aborted effort, Smile. Later adding, when I found him, he was alone in a room staring at a TV. I was off. That was a really horrible period with that shrink who was just like this Svengali that had just completely screwed up Brian's life. It was reported that Wilson, this is great. It was reported that Wilson interrupted the first vocal session for the album by asking Parks, "Wait a minute, what am I even doing here?" Parks hit the talkback button and responded, "You're here because I can't stand the sound of my own voice." Wilson paused, nodded his head, and stepped up to the microphone proclaiming, "Well, that makes sense. Okay, take one." I mean, it's like, being in the studio with these guys was unbelievable. It was an amazing experience. Um, uh, uh, though billed as an anticipated, though billed and anticipated as a full collaboration, the album is devoted to Parks' compositions and features his typically dense wordplay and orchestrations. Wilson, for his part, contributes vocals and vocal arrangements. Parks also reported that, in despite of his invitation, Wilson had declined to contribute any music to the project. Despite this, he was impassioned to record the album with Parks, determined to make something that he could live with 10 years from then. Blah, 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 blah. And then there's quite a few people involved in this. I'll just go down that real quick. Johnny Britt, background vocals, Dennis Budimir, guitar and mandolin. Now, Dennis I met back in 1967 when our band Group Therapy was making our album, and Dennis was one of the Wrecking Crew, and he played on our record in 67, but here he's still working. Chili Charles, there's a bunch of different drummers and different musicians on this. So Chili Charles on drums, Bernie Dressel on drums. I love working with Bernie. The great Grant Geisman on guitar and mandolin. Richard Green on violin. Donnie Gerard on background vocals. Robert Greenridge on steel drums. Danny Hutton from the original Three Dog Night on background vocals. Ira Ingber on guitar and mandolin. Ira and I have been friends, and he was part of Group Therapy back then, and his brother Elliot Ingber was in the original Mothers of Invention. David Joyce on background vocals. Doug Lacey, who's really great, Zydeco and all that stuff. He's really good on background vocals. Arnold McCuller on background vocals. David McKelvey on harmonica, and the incredibly great Tommy Morgan on harmonica. Terrence Schoenig on hammer dulcimer. Carl Seeloff played some bass. I played some bass. Fred Tackett from Little Feat and all kinds of other stuff on guitar and mandolin. Carmen Twilley on background vocals. Mona Lisa Young on background vocals, mixed by Michael Frondelli. Britt Bacon was the engineer. Kent Darren Teresian, also engineering. I'm looking to check. Clark Germain, also engineering. So it's quite a collaborative effort with a whole lot of people involved on this thing. But it's a really unique album and quite different than so many other projects that I've played on. I love working with Van Dyke, though. We did Inara George's album together. Inara was Lowell George's daughter, and she's wonderful. We just finished another project with him a while back. Blanking on it. But we've toured as a trio with Van Dyke, myself, and Greg Geisman. We went to Austria and Ireland and Japan, and it's always just classic working with Van Dyke. I've done a lot of projects where he was brought in to play accordion and different things. So this was a really interesting project to do. And so I thought I'd just play a couple of tracks from it. I think I played the title track, Orange Crate Art, on an earlier video, these many months ago. And so I thought I would go to couple of the internal tracks. I was going to play along today, but today's just gotten completely out of hand, and I'm having to call Chris back after this and stuff. So I thought I would just play some music, and I'll get back into maybe playing. I was going to play along with some Judith Owen today, but I think I'll save that till tomorrow, and then go back, maybe visit a little more James. It was really nice doing James yesterday. So I hope everybody's having a good day. And so here we go from the album Orange Crate Art with Brian Wilson and Van Dyke Parks. This is called Movies is Magic. Here we go.
She slid on her dress under the melancholy moon. something to impress him, hoping he would be there soon. She gonna run away.
Well, you can sure tell Brian's voice.
He got a Chevrolet. She want a Nat King Cole. He got a Jenny Roll. Whole lot of heart and soul. Jack Rum and a river ride are rapping at her door. Take her to a picture show she sure ain't seen before. She was a debutante. Give her just what she wants. You tell her just where to go. Down to the drive-in show. You be my riverboat. Movies is magic. Real life is tragic. Fundamental, though it seems, when you're living in your dream. When you wake up, it's over. Movies is magic. Real life is tragic. I regret I gotta say, it's time we get away to the movies and magic. Cowboy, like engine, pop right off that silver screen. Sky lit up like a jukebox for a dreamboat does the queen. Rain rubbing all around. Put up the top, you clown. And turn on the Nat King Cole. Walk with the rock and roll to the movies and magic. Movies is magic. Movies is magic. Real life is tragic. And as time goes by, you will often wonder why, till the day that you die. 'Cause movies is magic. Movies is magic.
I mean, Van Dyke's arrangements and stuff are just really something else. He goes out into places nobody else ever ventures into. And it's fascinating. I mean, when you think about Brian Wilson's history, boy, the ups and downs that guy's gone through, that family's gone through, it's incredible. But his contributions to music were really quite something. And Van Dyke, I mean, the first time I think I worked with Van Dyke was probably around 1972. I think the project I did with him, that was the first time I ever got to play with the great Richie Hayward on drums. And man, what a joy that guy was to play with. But Van Dyke, he'll sit there and tell stories about like when he was a kid and he met Einstein and stuff. I mean, it's, you know, some people just live these lives where you just kind of sit back and you go, wow, this is really amazing. And I always felt kind of like Nipper, the RCA dog, who sits there. It was my master's voice is the logo for RCA, and there's a Victrola and this dog sitting there kind of listening to the Victrola, and that's Nipper. And I sort of always felt like Nipper when I was with Van Dyke. Just wanted him to tell stories. I got to the point I didn't even care about the music, just tell stories, because he's got such an incredible lyrical way of talking and telling his stories. But he's a delight to work with, that's for sure. So here's another one called Palm Tree and Moon. Yeah, let's see.
China, the starlight like to find ya. Our lover's way of saying come home soon. Put it in a letter, then you start there behind ya. It's time for love to find ya. A palm tree in the moon.
Brian, wow.
Where the comet comes out too far.
Pretty hard to find any other artists out there doing anything like this. These were really a couple of totally unique individuals collaborating here. It's something else. It's not, when I get called to do things like this, I just kind of go, well, this sure isn't what I'm used to every day. Boy, you're on your toes though during it. There's changes and stuff are just completely not what you expect. You're like you're cruising along and all of a sudden it just hangs a sharp left on you, so you got to be on your toes. This one is called This Town Goes Down at Sunset. Been to a lot of those kind of joints, I'll tell you that. Here we go.
This town goes down in sunset when the hills start turning red. The streets roll up at 8 o'clock. Everybody goes off to bed. Woo! Everybody goes off to bed. Someone names, you can hear a screen door slam. A car goes skating down the road. Whoop-de-doo. Everybody gets out of hand. Whoa. Everybody gets out of hand. You took the key to my heart door, and you set off on your own. I shook it off as a passing phase. Everybody must come back home. Everybody must come back home. This town gets up at daybreak when the hills start turning blue. A whistle blows, a rooster crows. Everybody's got things to do. Woo! Everybody's got things to do. This town goes down at sunset when the hills start turning red. The streets roll up at 8 o'clock. Everybody goes back to bed. Woo! Everybody goes back to bed. Woo! Ooh. Ah.
Also, here at times, I could hear Zevon jumping in with these two and being a part of that whole scene, because there's just something so beautifully unorthodox about so much of it, and that was a huge part of the Zevon magic, was just going places and doing things where everybody went, what? What are you talking about? That would have been really cool. Okay, so I'll do one more here. This is called My Hobo Heart. And again, this is Orange Crate Art, Brian Wilson, and Van Dyke Parks.
Was Now my traveling days are through, and riding horses in the sandal, walking with you, hand in hand will do. Me and my hobo heart, me and my hobo heart. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, no, no, no,
Needless to say, there were charts for all these songs. They were sketch charts. It wasn't, absolutely notated everything, but it was certainly the structure was all there in terms of chord changes. Because if you thought you were going to guess what the next change was going to be, you were going to probably be sorely mistaken. Because this was really, like I said earlier, completely, just all over the place in a really unique way. I was just thinking too, I did a thing earlier on one of the early videos. The last project I did with Van Dyke was the fabulous Gabby Moreno, her album. And he did some amazing arrangements on that. And she's just such a beautiful singer. So that was fun. If you want to check out Gabby Moreno, do that. But so that's Orange Crate Art, Brian Wilson and Van Dyke Parks. A couple of the more unique characters I've ever known in this business, that's for sure. And I was just thinking, there's a couple of projects. I mean, there's a lot of projects I did, but I might over the next couple of days do a couple of things that never got released, that were basically, we did the album. They didn't ever get to the point of mixing them. For some reason, something went down business-wise or whatever, and they got shelved. But I have roughs of them, because I was thinking about this, because one of them, Van Dyke came in and played accordion on. So I might dig deep and see if I can find those and just say, not everything makes the cut, regardless of whether it's really good music or not. Other things get in the way. So I might think about that. I'm going to get running now, though, and call Chris GC and finish our interview for Bass Player magazine. And I'm going to... just as I do every day, and I will until such time as it's not necessary, which is hard to believe there ever will be, because these people are necessary always, regardless of pandemics. The people that work frontline in almost any profession, be it medical, firefighters, police, there's so many professions that are so essential to our daily lives. But during the course of COVID, they've really stepped up to the plate. And I just want to always say thank you to them. And still, just my heart's with these people in Florida dealing with this catastrophic situation down there. And the hard part is watching the news and then all the reports that start coming up about, there was warnings about structural damage that were ignored and all this stuff. And there was video of it just before it happened, of water running into the parking structure. And you just go, it's everything for, like, they didn't want to spend the money to upgrade the building. And how much is a human life worth? Because you look at how much tragedy this has created, is just beyond comprehension. So my heart's with everybody down there, both the families waiting for news and for the people that are working so hard, still trying desperately to see if anybody's still caught in a pocket of down there. And they've talked about, like, during building collapses, during earthquakes and stuff, where they've found people 2 weeks after the building came down still alive. So you don't want to give up until the whole place has been completely cleared and everything, every person is accounted for. But man, just my heart's with you. So I'm going to get going, finish taking care of my stuff here, and you do the same. Also, next Tuesday will be the next live stream. So this coming Tuesday, I don't know what that 4th is. I guess that's the 6th. I think Sunday is the 4th of July. Today's Thursday, first, second, third, fourth, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Yes, Saturday, Sunday. So that should be the 6th. Yeah. Nobody said there was going to be math involved. So, okay. Well, I'm going to get running here. You take good care, and I will see everybody tomorrow. And then hopefully I'm going to have some interesting news about the immediate family very soon. We're having our band Zoom tomorrow morning, and hopefully I'll get an answer to this that I can share with you tomorrow if everything's in order. So talk to you then. Okay. Bye-bye.